Hey everyone, Tiffany High here with Results Driven REI. I'm super excited. Every week we do what we call our student spotlight, and this week we have Tal. He primarily wholesales out of the indie market. He's been working with us for about 4 or 5 months, I believe it's been now. And he's gotten several contracts. He's probably the fastest action taker from that I've seen in a long time. And he definitely goes after everything that we tell him to implement. And I'm super excited to have him on board today. So Aiden, do you mind bringing him up? What's going on, man?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. By
Good
the way,
seeing
are you
you.
where are you physically located right now?
Right now, I'm in Cozumel, Mexico.
That's what I'm saying. I thought you moved to Mexico, right?
Yeah, I did a month ago and 5 weeks ago. I moved here.
Okay. So you're primarily wholesaling from Mexico in the Louisville market, right?
Yeah, I am. I started back in the day in Israel. Then I moved to Louisville for a few months, and now I'm in Mexico.
Awesome. So, well, if you don't mind, I'll just jump right in, and I'm probably gonna just drill you with a bunch of questions that I know other people watching this probably want to hear and learn themselves. So one, hats off because Steven tells me all the time about all the action that you take, and he says you're probably one of the fastest implementers out there. So one, like you should be proud of yourself. I know that growth is stressful for everyone, but hopefully you're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel with all the contracts I know you guys been getting.
Oh
So walk me through. So did you start wholesaling in Israel then?
yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I was a soldier, and I just got released. And a couple of weeks after we started the operation, started cold calling, did everything ourselves. And then step by step, started hiring, started scaling, started failing until we met you.
So you came out to the 2-day workshop and tell me about like where you were at in the journey when you came to the 2-day.
So when I came to the 2-day workshop, I had one acquisition manager, I had one follow-up specialist, and I had a few people in the marketing, all in-house, cold callers, texters, and all of that. um, Now, the biggest issue that I had when I got there was inconsistency. Like the things that held my business was my team's natural talents. I didn't really know how to coach them. I didn't really know how to manage them. It was all new to me. I'm 23, by the way, so I don't have uh, much experience doing all that stuff. Like I was a soldier, and that's my only real life experience. And I wasn't a manager, also, or a commander back then. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of one thing I see, especially in our industry, it's really common is a lot of like younger folks. And when I say younger, like that included me and in my general 20s. And even when I came into this industry, like I hadn't really led a ton of people before. And ultimately, people is really what moves an organization forward. And I think that when people get started in the business, and I've been there, we get caught up in thinking we need to do marketing, we need to do this, we need to do that. The reality is people are what really generate the company to move forward and generate revenue. And then once you get people on board, it's about like, how do I follow a framework to manage them, especially if you've never led people in your life?
exactly. And like the thing is that before I had them, I was doing all myself. So it was all like something happens, I'll react to it. Something else happens, I'll react to it. And like I didn't really know how to teach other people how to do it. Like, what do you react? Like, how do you build a system around it? Besides, like, how can you scale if you only look for people with natural talent? And how can you build a framework with people with only natural talent?
Yep.
What am I looking for? I didn't even know that. And
Well,
then,
hopefully we've helped solve all those problems.
oh wow, you wouldn't even believe. You would. Some other people who don't know the small group and all that, but I got to the 2-day workshop, and I've seen that there is a framework you can work around. I've seen that there is something that's called the framework, because like up until then I was just all around. Oh, I feel like marketing is not doing well, so I'll work on it a few days. I feel like acquisition is not doing well, so I'll work on that for a few days. I'll feel like, oh, I have a few deals in this pool. Okay, I'll do that. Until I really learned how to look at it. Like everyone says business is a game. Business, the best businessmen, business people look at the business as the game. um, and one of the biggest things that I learned, I don't know if it was the 2 day or the entire journey together, but like to keep score, that really put like reality into this saying. Like I'm keeping score on my game, like I'm beating my personal records, and now
Yep.
I can follow them. That's one of the biggest things I got from the 2 day, like how to really track whatever I'm doing, not just like go by the gut.
Yep. So you're in Mexico. So walk me through how you went about building the team. Are most of your people in other countries?
Yes, most of my team is in Costa Rica, because Jonathan, my partner, he has a lot of connections over there. So like he knew a few people, they knew a few people, so we kind of built a network over there. At first, we had just call callers and text people, and then like they got groomed to be follow-up specialists, acquisitions, and I had, and up until recently, I had one local person in Louisville. Um, who was going to like physical appointments until we learned how to really make the most out of our business. So he went virtual, but we part ways like a few weeks ago, so now that's me again.
So you're in Mexico. So I think that one thing that's like I want to point out to anyone watching this is so even though I'm in Columbus, Ohio, and we rehab and wholesale in Columbus, I physically have not been in a property in over 3 years, not even our rehabs. And so I think it's important that a lot of people think, how does that work or how does that even possible? And it's really just about systems and processes and bringing the right boots on the ground on the team. And ultimately, I'm a big believer you can really do this from anywhere, which I think a lot of you guys watching likely want that time freedom or that ability to do something like this. And I think one of the biggest things in growth for you is just I think that you've been really coachable and receptive to being held accountable to the results that you claim that you want, right? And a lot of people ask us like, how is our program different than other people's programs? But the name is results driven for a reason because this, like, we don't do it, your normal mastermind style where it's like, oh, let's just have hot seats and talk about each other's problems and go get drunk together. We are very big about accountability. You get to define your success. Like what you define success is different than me. And it's our job to build you a custom plan to get you to where you said that you wanted to go. And sometimes that takes conversations that maybe you don't even like because it's tough. Like, we're going to hold you accountable to bringing your scorecards to the table, talking you through recruiting the right people, onboarding them the right way. How do we manage performance? All these things. If you don't know, if you've never done it before, you're going to create nothing but hardship for yourself over time because it's super stressful to manage people when you don't have a framework to lead them by, especially if you've never done it. So it's a result of you don't know what you don't know if you've never done it. So I just can't emphasize enough to folks that are watching this, like Tal has really been ultra coachable. And we take an accountability approach to how we help grow our students and everything that they're doing. But I've heard you have like locked up some contracts lately. So how are those going?
I had a meeting with Steven, my coach, a couple of weeks ago, I think, or a week and a half ago, and we really broke down together what my scores supposed to look like in order to get in order to make my minimum result my quarterly goals, and starting to keep score like for real, like how many leads I need to get in the system, how many people I need to talk to, how many pass-ups do I need to get from my follow-up specialists, how many quality conversations do I need to have. And he also, he told me if you don't get enough leads, just go find them, and gave me a few suggestions. Now I did that. In the first week, I think I locked 5 contracts. Now, what day is it? Thursday. I locked a couple more this week, and like just going by score and not going by gut. I need to have this amount of process calls, and it's just like, and he told me this amount of process calls will get you this amount of offers, this amount of offers will get you this amount of deals.
Yep.
So he was either right or either underestimating. So it was like, we thought we'll get 5 offers and it will get us 2 contracts. So it's like 1 to 2.5. I got like 8 offers, I think, last week and 5 contracts. So like the
Holy
numbers
crap.
are better.
Damn, you're out beating our numbers now.
Now
Well,
I
that's
just need
awesome.
to teach someone how to do it.
That's awesome, man. So how have you gone about, I know we've been working with you on like recruiting and all that. So how have you gone about building your team since you've joined the small group?
So the first stage was reevaluating my team, honestly, because I took like the people I took under my wing, under like into my team, were people who had natural uh, sales tendency. I would call it like that. Like I had a guy who was an acquisition manager for 3 years for a different company, and like he told me, yeah, I know how to close. I closed this amount of deals. Okay, good, you're hired. But then we talked about company culture and about core values and about the team as a team and not the team as individuals. Reevaluating all of that kind of made me realize, okay, this specific person is not who I want to be in my team. This specific person is exactly who I want to be in my team. So it helped me clean the team and make it better, but it also helped me kind of realize the people I do have right now and are fitting all of that are there people that I want to move forward and run forward with. Um,
Yep.
and now we're starting to work soon on replacing this acquisition manager and getting someone else who would be a better core value fit to our company. Um, which again, I don't know if people who see it like know your story, but you told us at the 2 day that like you didn't really enjoy coming to your business, to the workplace that you created, because of the energy and because the people weren't like the same, they weren't a fit core value wise.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt the same, and that's something that really helped me, like Steven really helped me realize, um, like that I feel like that because of a reason, and that's the reason. And I acted upon it, and now like I feel better. I work a little bit more, but I know it's temporary. So like that's another big thing that on the team side of things.
Yeah. Yeah, and for those of you watching that maybe haven't heard my story, long story short, for the first 2 years of building up the company, I had put people in seats that necessarily didn't fit my core values, but it was my fault because I didn't have those core values posted all over my office, and I definitely didn't talk about them in my recruiting process like we do now. And even this last 2-day workshop, a lot of people in the room, I said, raise your hand if you think core values are just fluffy. And they like almost most of the room did. It was kind of crazy. And I was like, what makes you feel that way? And ultimately, core values is what's going to drive the culture of your company. It's going to make you either hate or love going to work with the people that you're around. And once you're aligned and on the same wavelength as everyone in the office, like you'll see naturally that one, you'll be more passionate about going to work and doing what you're doing. And then two, the money always follows. Like the income of the whole company rises as the speed of the culture rises. Our culture is really what drives results. And so you probably, if you follow us at all, you'll probably see a lot of our taglines say leaders drive culture and culture drives results. And we're just really big believers in that. And for you guys that are watching, if you haven't heard from or read Urban Meyer's book Above the Line, it has like a culture building playbook, and we live by that. His playbook of how he built culture within Ohio State University's championship teams. But anyways, man, congrats. I know that Steven talks about you in every team meeting. So I applaud you for one, just being coachable and receiving feedback and just being open ended to learning and everything like that. I think that ultimately we always have to be a student of the game, which is why I also have like 8 different mentors, and they all serve a purpose. And as we continue to grow, opportunities get bigger, and so do problems. Problems get bigger as you grow. So, I wish I was in Mexico. I just came from Florida last week from a women's retreat, and I realized that living in Ohio sucks. So I'm very jealous of you in Mexico, and I think it's awesome that you are getting this many deals living in a country somewhere outside of the US while still locking up deals in the US and getting them done. So I think that's hats off to you outliving your like journey and your purpose right now.
Yeah, I've seen that you on your stories that you came back to Ohio, and that's like more snow that I've ever seen at
I
once in
know.
my life.
It's horrible.
So horrible. It's 85 here, I think, right now.
That's funny. Well, if you could give one piece of advice to the listeners that are going to watch this, what would you give them?
Oh wow, just one. We just talked about culture, so I'll go off of that. I remember back in my soldier days, which was the closest I've ever been to like an employee, because it was like a high tech office environment being there. Um, I had a lot of like experiences that I didn't really like. Like I know they got me a teammate. I really didn't like. It wasn't a fit for my core values, or I had my commander who wasn't a fit for me, or I wasn't a fit for them. Um, and just now, like being my own business owner, which is probably whoever is watching it is his own business owner, whether it's a one man show or 50 people show. um, I think the like understanding what's your core values, understanding what you look for, and who are the people who can be best led by you. um, realizing how to execute it, that would be the best thing, not just for your business but for you as people, because you're doing it for a reason. You're doing it whether to help your family or to get your freedom, like for your financial freedom, or to make extra money, as a side hustle. But if you really want to scale and succeed in it, you really need people who are the, the same vibes as you, the same, like you would want to enjoy talking to them, you would want to enjoy lead them, you would want them to be coachable, if that's something that's important to you, but probably it is if you want to build a successful business. So like really understanding your core values and not giving up on them. Don't take a temporary solution, but just wait another week, wait another month, uh, in order to make something that will work for you on the long term and not make you suffer eventually.
Yep. Yeah, I just again I want to emphasize to folks, I think that Urban Meyer's book about culture was a game changer for us. And I think that we all take culture and core values and all that for granted sometimes, especially in the beginning, because we think that everything else is the problem, but core values, we think, oh, if I dump another 10 grand in marketing, it's gonna fix my life. And that's not the case. I think when you build the people around you, that's what builds the company. And ultimately, when you can build people and provide careers and opportunity, you know, if you're a business owner and that doesn't drive you, you probably shouldn't be a business owner. But just giving other people opportunity, especially as you're hiring people in other countries and all that, I think is just, I think it's a beautiful thing that our industry allows us to do. I think it's obviously pretty common. But anyways, yeah, man, I'm super proud of you, and you don't go untalked about in our office. So anyways, congrats on all the contracts. Now it's time to get them moved and dispoed.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, but I don't want to take up too much of your time today. I appreciate you coming on here. And for any of you guys watching this, just so you know, we have a few different programs. We've got what we call the virtual group, which is 4 weeks live with Josh and I, and we teach you all the foundational processes, systems, data management, how we reverse engineer our marketing channels so that you don't just spend money and hope that it sticks. And then we have what we call the 2-day workshop, which is where we go over our recruiting, onboarding, and training processes. And then from there, we have a 6-month program called the small group, which is what Tal is in. And really, in that program, we're really big about accountability, one on one and group structures. And ultimately, we provide mentorship, not just for you, but your staff. So, anyways, if you're interested in learning any more, please reach out to us at tiffanyandjoshhigh.com. You can go to work with us at the top and just fill out the form, and we'll be in touch then. So, tiffanyandjoshhigh.com, go to work with us, and we can take it from there. But thanks for joining us, Tal. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep, you too.
Bye bye.